Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I am so excited to share with you the back to school mega bundle. This bundle is probably my favorite of the entire year for a variety of reasons, for inspiration, for the upcoming school year, for different topics that we might want to cover, for ways to teach my children different concepts and skills, for the creative curriculum resources that are in these bundles. For so many reasons, it's my favorite one of the year. The fact that it is not a particular theme, I actually love, although I love themed bundles. I feel like some people might not like that particular bundle because of its particular theme and it not being something that they're really interested in or they feel their children are interested in at this time. The back to school mega bundle has resources in it all the way from your toddlers through your teens. I have a senior this coming school year and I cannot believe it, but I'm so excited that in this mega bundle there are resources for all of my different age children from 4 through almost 17. It's crazy to think that this is going to be my last year homeschooling my oldest son. Like, I almost can't think about it, or it makes me really sad. But I've really held tightly to the rhythm and culture in our homeschool of him still being very much involved in what we're learning as a family while still maintaining his independent subjects and independent interests. And so there were some resources that I was really excited to pull for him and print for him and want to kind of like spread a feast for him in a sense where he can kind of choose which of these he's super interested in. So this is not just a focus on high school or seniors today, but I wanted to start with him because I feel like one of the misconceptions about bundles, which is technically true about many bundles, but one of the misconceptions about bundles is that they only have resources for the littles. And while this back to school mega bundle is packed with resources for preschool and early elementary, there are also a wealth of resources from upper elementary, middle, and even high schoolers. This bundle is an incredible value no matter what age your children are. And I feel like there's so much in here that you can use it for years and years and years to come. If you only have littles, there will be resources in just this one bundle that you'll be able to use throughout all of their years of homeschooling. I did not print really any of the resources for the littles because there are just so many. And I am going to go through and print some for my littles. I'm going to print some for my 8-year-old. But what I printed today more focuses on what's available for the older kids because I feel like it's more important to highlight because I feel like everyone knows that there is plenty for the younger kids in homeschool bundles. So before I jump into showing you the resources that I printed and giving you an idea of what's in this bundle, or the variety that's in this bundle, I do want to mention that as always, mega bundles are for a limited time. So I'm going to put the dates to this bundle in the description box below. And if you are catching this video after those dates, you will be able to purchase these things individually from the creators who made them. But obviously, it is a much greater value if you are catching the bundle because 1 or even 2 or 3 of these resources would add up to the price of the bundle itself. So it's just insane. You get thousands of pages of digital resources and hundreds of dollars of value for a very low price. And then there are the optional upgrades. And guys, I know I always get excited about bundles. I get excited about the upgrade options, but like these upgrade options are so good, like maybe the best ones I've seen yet. So I'm going to share those with you as well. So I'm going to start with my resource. I'm not going to focus a ton on it because honestly, I didn't even print out all of my own resource. I have the original version. So if you've been around, you may remember my notebooking guide for the lost art of reading nature signs. That's this book right here. This is technically just an adult book. It's a regular book. It is very dense, lots of information, but it is such a cool way to continue to include nature study on a deeper level for your older kids. So if you have a very advanced nature study enthusiast that is like an upper elementary, I think they could definitely use this with the resources that I provided for the guided notebooking, definitely middle school and certainly high school. I have learned so much just reading this in order to write the guide. So even you will learn things about nature alongside your kids. So it is a very dense book. And the guide actually only goes through the introduction and the first 4 chapters because the intention, and you'll see that that's like quite a bit of information still, because the intention is that it gives you a framework and a rhythm to be able to go throughout the rest of the book. So it goes through this much of the book in a framework and rhythm that makes sense for you. So some of the things you may decide really work well, some you just may decide don't, and maybe you come up with your own creative ways. So a lot of my notebooking guides do not go through an entire text, like my Burgess Bird Books notebooking guide, if you're familiar with that one, goes through the first 10 chapters of the Burgess Bird Book for children. And then the idea is that you have found your own personal notebooking rhythm by then to just continue on through the rest of the book in the way that works for you and is authentic for you and your kids. So it is for this book, The Lost Art of Reading Nature Signs. This is by Tristan Gooley. And I've seen some interesting comparisons between him and Bear Grylls. So if you know Bear Grylls, or if your kids like Bear Grylls, the Bear Grylls books, but like maybe they've aged out of them and need something a little bit more, this is going to be the perfect book for them. And the notebooking guide, if you either notebook already or you want them to start with notebooking or try out notebooking, this is a great way to do that. So I originally made this a couple of years ago. I think it was not last fall, but the fall before. And what I've done this time around is I've added more activities. So things like letter writing, comic strip making, and things like that. So there are more hands-on activities for maybe including your younger kids, or maybe they're your older kids, but they need kind of that creative aspect, while at the same time not necessarily knowing where to start with that aspect. So it'll give them some opportunities to try out different ways of demonstrating the knowledge that they're getting from the book, and then they can kind of take it and run with it. Another thing that I like about the Back to School Mega Bundle is I feel like a lot of my favorite curriculum resource creators use this as an opportunity to launch their new units. And so I get really excited to see what they are all coming up with. So if you've been around, you know that one of my absolute favorites is Bonnie from Dwelling Logs. We have her Shakespeare study from a previous bundle that I have printed and bound, and we have not gotten to it yet, but that is a goal for me for this upcoming school year, is to do the Shakespeare study with my kids. And I'm like, my oldest has to have more experience with Shakespeare before he graduates. So we are definitely going to prioritize that. He knows Shakespeare, we've done some Shakespeare, but we need a little bit more. We need to circle back around. And so I thought this would be perfect for after we do this. For this unit, for this bundle, she came up with Bard of the Yukon, Robert William Service, The Man, the Story, the Poetry. So I'm excited. This is kind of a poetry and biography study. I did not print all of it, just the first few lessons. And this is Bonnie, in case you don't know her. She's amazing. And so this goes through his life and his timeline, has some of his poetry here. And so I'm really excited to learn more about him because I don't know much about him. And so I get excited to learn these things alongside my kids. But this just kind of gives you a feel for the flow of the unit, what it visually looks like, all of these units. I just love, I don't know, they're just so talented the way that they design their units. Next up, I have one by Wonderhouse Creative. If you've been around, you know how much I love Monique's units as well. She's also a writer for the Love of Homeschooling. So if you've done their Nature Study Club, you've used her resources. Bonnie is also the watercolor tutorial teacher. So if you've done those, then you know Bonnie. But Monique created British Columbia. So Waypoints is a travel curriculum that she created, and this one focuses on British Columbia. So I'm really excited because I don't really know anything about British Columbia. So it gives you a 1-month calendar of 12 lessons, 3 times a week for approximately 4 weeks. And then these different activities that you can do alongside it, like this symbol scramble with the map. What else? You're learning about the First Peoples, about the Haida people. So I'm really excited. Again, this is just the very first little chunk to give you guys an idea. And it's also like a physical reminder of to myself. Like I put these away and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I wanted to try this out and print the rest of the unit. So we have that one. And then lastly, before I get to the upgrade options, which are incredible, I wanted to just share with you one more unit that I have in mind for my oldest, and that is Literature as History, Beowulf. If you know Julia from My Texas Homeschool, who is also a writer and creator and all of the things for the Love of Homeschooling, she created this, Beowulf, an Anglo-Saxon epic poem translated by John Leslie Hall. And this is going to be perfect for really doing an epic with my oldest, and I'm sure I will pull in my 13-year-old to do this with us. But this has a table of contents showing you like what is in here, literary terms, story summary, text walkthrough, tons of stuff in here to guide you as the parent in teaching your child through Beowulf. So really, really like thorough, in-depth. She used to be a high school English teacher like I was, so I really appreciate her in-depth guides that she has. This is literary terms that you need to know for Beowulf, and then parent-teacher lesson plans. So she is so organized, way more organized than me. She's pretty amazing and super, super smart. So there's also a link to an answer key. Talks a bit about British literature. There's the prologue, intro, discussion guide. So it really gives you everything you need, and then it gets into the characters. I actually did print the whole one because this one was only 22 pages. So I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and click print on this one. I know I'm gonna wanna use this. So I am definitely gonna print everything. So just to give you a taste of like for middle school and high school, how much is in there, that is just some of what's in there. Now let's talk about the upgrade options because they are pretty amazing. There are 2 separate upgrade options, okay? The first is from Ginny from 1,000 Hours Outside, and if you are familiar with her, then you probably love her just as much as I do. And she has included her 1,000 Hours Outside 2024 to 2025 school handbook, your practical guide for intentionally including nature experiences throughout your school year. I love this so much. I love how she actually gets into like the research a little bit here and how to use the handbook for parents, for teachers, and then the 6 components of this handbook. So tracking your time outside, seasonal nature activities, recording movement milestones, child-led hikes, nature journaling, and seasonal add the wonder units. So this is completely customizable. You can print this and kind of organize these in a variety of ways. You can use these little pages as posters or covers if you're going to do a monthly booklet for your child. My daughter already started calling this in, not realizing that we're still in July, but that's okay. She got excited, so that was fine with me. I can always print another one. And then there is a picture book list for each month and an outside adventure prompts list for each month. And again, she started crossing out things that we've already done, but it was for July, but that's okay. And then for each week of the month, they can fill out the dates and then color in a flower for each of them. And then the seasonal nature activity, weekly hike, and movement milestones. She did a quick sketch of making s'mores, nature journal entry, and then same thing for week 2. And it kind of follows that same pattern weekly. So you'll notice for that first month, I did put these right behind the monthly pages, but you don't have to do it that way. That was just how I wanted to set that up. But I did not do that for the other months yet because I haven't fully decided how I want to use it. But then you can see like, so you have September, like the quote / poster, the monthly page for them to color in how many hours they did, and then the picture book list and the adventure prompts. And then it goes through all the way through May. So really excited about this, but that is not the only thing that she contributed. She also contributed 3 full Add the Wonder nature study curriculums. So she included seeds. So I'll just show you a few pages of each of these. So there are 2 weeks for each of them, days 1 through 8. So 1 through 4 are week 1, 5 through 8 are in week 2. There's a recommended book list, and then supplies that you'll be needing. So for seeds, you're looking at like what they are and their anatomy, all of the definitions for the different parts of the seed, introduction to seeds and opportunities for them to kind of journal or write or draw. More introduction to seeds. You can see that my 4-year-old got a hold of this one. This is showing kind of like the life cycle of a seed. Yeah, she really had fun with this one already. And just as you can see, it's really hands-on. Really kind of like easy to follow, open and go for your kids. Oh, this is cool. There's the history of Henry David Thoreau. So there's lots of like cross-curricular connections in here, which I think is really cool. Seed dispersal, talking about the different ways that seeds are dispersed. Talking about dandelions, of course. Talks about water and being a way that seeds are dispersed. So that is the seeds one. So this upgrade option includes her 1,000 Hours Outside guide and these 3 curriculums. So you'll see that they follow kind of the same structure, but this one is Animal Travelers. Again, it is a 2-week unit, so they follow that same kind of format. Talking about migration, the 4 types of migration. It talks about how do they navigate. Flyaways are routes used by birds to migrate. So there's kind of a migration map there. And then your turn to research a particular animal. Then studying insects, learning about butterflies and their migration. And then this one is specifically about monarchs. So I'm really excited to have these. So similar to the units for my older kids, how I'm going to let them kind of pick and choose which ones we start with, I'm going to do the same for these from the upgrade and let my younger 3 pick the ones that we start with. And they've already gotten excited about all of them, and as you can see, started writing in some of them. So this one is Scat and Tracks. So I just know that they're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I'll give you a peek, but again, it follows the same 2-week structure. And again, we may use this for 2 months, doing it 1 or 2 days a week. We may do it all in 1 week, like whatever works for you, but I love that there is an optional structure to follow. So this is talking about specifically what SCAT is, and you're gonna be creating your own animal tracking nature journal in this one, which is fun. This is just getting them thinking about like which animal would have the largest SCAT. This one's talking about blue whales and butterflies. As you can see, again, my 5-year-old got to work on this one already. And then this one's talking about the gypsy moth caterpillar. So lots of really, really fun, interesting, engaging resources and that upgrade option. The other upgrade option that I want to share with you as one last thing is a brand new curriculum from the Peaceful Press. Now, if you have been around, then you know how much I love the Peaceful Press, how much I love Jennifer Pepito's books and resources and curriculum, and just love her. I've had the pleasure of meeting her in person and chatting with her a couple of times, and I'm actually going to be having her as a guest on my YouTube channel soon. So I'm gonna be doing an interview with her, so be on the lookout for that. But anyways, the other optional upgrade is the Nature Book Flood year-round nature study from the Peaceful Press. I am so excited about this because before I even knew that it was going to be in the bundle, I saw them share about this on the Peaceful Press page, and I got so excited because it focuses on nature study through picture books as the starting point. So just to kind of give you an idea of how that works, each week there is a different book to focus on. This is the book list. There's a book list for each of the 4 seasons, starting with fall. And then on the season page, it gives you read aloud suggestions. So for this one, Miracles on Maple Hill and Homer Price. And then each week you have your nature book that you're going to be focused on. This one is Bring Me Some Apples. Then there is something there's something to read, play, make, look/listen, and a nature walk, and then the supplies that you need. So for this one, you're baking an apple pie, you're listening to Autumn from the 4 Seasons by Thea Musgrave, you're visiting an apple orchard. And so you have the recipe and all of the instructions right in here for making the apple pie. Then week 2, you're reading Goodbye Summer, Hello Autumn by Keenard Park. There's a YouTube clickable link for all of these books, which is great. So if you don't have them in your home library, or you can't get them at your public library, or you don't want to have to purchase them, you can access all of them through YouTube. So for this one, you're raking leaves, you're making leaf animals, you're reading Ecclesiastes 3:1, and then you're going for a nature walk looking for signs of fall. And I love these from the Peaceful Press, these songs that help you memorize scripture. So this one has Ecclesiastes 3:1 to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Then there is Bible First copywork, and your older kids obviously can just freehand write it. And then it goes through like this every single week of the year. So third week is why the leaves change color. And so it follows, like, there's just so many cool things in here. Like you make dipped beeswax candles. There are art study pages. So not every week is the same. Some weeks have more to do in there than others. But like this week you're making granola bars and there's an art study of winter reflections. There's just so much in here. I am genuinely so pumped. We are definitely going to be utilizing this. And I love that you can decide to use it one week and not another. You can use it in certain seasons and not another. And it's not one of those things that you have to commit to doing the full year. Obviously you can. I think it's a great, fun and enriching way to include nature study. They're so really excited to do this with my kids. Excited about sifting through even more of the resources that I haven't seen yet from the bundle, and I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on it. If you click the link in the description box below, you can see even more of the resources that are included in the bundle and the different options for purchasing the upgrades. And just remember that when the bundle ends, it's over and you have to go and buy everything separately if you want them. So there are always people that are so disappointed that they missed it. And although I feel like a broken record when bundles, especially over on Instagram, when bundles are live, I'm like, don't forget about the bundle. The bundle ends in 3 days. Today's the last day. I feel like a broken record, but there are always people that are like, oh my gosh, I forgot or I missed it. And I feel so bad and there's nothing I can do. So if you think you want the bundle, go check it out. It is in the description box below. If you're watching this later on, I'm sorry if you missed it, but there are always seasonal bundles coming around. We do a handful a year, so just be on the lookout for the next one if you missed this one. Let me know if you're gonna grab this bundle and what you're most excited about the upcoming school year. If you're not already following me over on Instagram, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. I'll be sharing more about the bundle over there throughout the week. And I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Until next time, stay rooted.